Lesson on Life is my season and my time to rise. I have with me three wonderful guests who are going to join me in a conversation. They're going to act as co-hosts today to help me bring some information to you. Information about how to live well, how to enjoy life. We're going to talk about vision. We're going to talk about career building. We're going to talk about home ownership. We have some great information, so don't go away because I have some amazing people that I want to introduce you to. I have with me Miss Emma Felder. Just wave.
Hello.
Mr. LaTroy Brinkley.
Hey.
And Miss Teresa Warren. Okay, and they're going to give you some great information in just a second. But first, I just want to talk about why it's important to talk about this, because a lot of people, they look at the season and they think, okay, I'm waiting for my season to happen. I'm waiting to walk into my season. You hear people say that all the time. But you have to be prepared to walk into your season. The season doesn't just come. The season happens when you do things in your life. And that means you have to be prepared. So one of the things that I want to talk about, again, is the career and financial planning. I want to talk to you about renting versus home ownership. I want to talk to you about being an entrepreneur and owning your own business and how that even starts. So I want to turn to Mr. LaTroy Brinkley and talk about vision. I just want him to have a conversation with me, and I'm going to talk a little bit too about it. But what was the vision behind you becoming the entrepreneur and all the amazing things that you do? And tell us about you and that too.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Here's the thing. Me being a hairstylist, I'm a celebrity hairstylist now, owner of Serendipity Hair Salon. It was never my vision to be a hairstylist.
Okay.
But after going to college and getting 3 degrees and working in corporate America for about 10 years, I found that knack, that thing that I love to do without a second guess.
Love it.
And I tapped into that because I knew my life was taking me somewhere else. I was always different growing up. I was the little redhead boy with freckles. Who would have thought? So... Right. So, I always knew it was something, I was destined to do something different.
Something great.
Something great. Something very great. And what I did, I ended up going to hair school while I was working on a master's. Going to hair school, and working full time. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. But.
You did it.
I did it. I talked to some of my friends, and they thought I was crazy because I was working a job that was paying me almost 6 figures to go and do hair that was barely paying me anything because I really didn't have any clientele.
Okay.
So I was stepping out on faith. I was like, okay, God, you told me if I wanted this that I have to follow you. So I said, okay, I'm going to follow you. The first month that I did hair, I made $80.
First month.
I had a mortgage payment, 3 car payments, and tons of credit card bills and student loans.
$80, not gonna pay for that.
I said, God, you told me to do this, and I stepped out on faith, but I know you're gonna lead me. But that was the last time I had to have that talk with God. He said, I heard you and I got you.
Wonderful.
Since then, it's been a wonderful bliss. It's been
amazing
great.
Journey.
Yeah.
Vision is not always easy. Sometimes we don't see the vision. I know that God, told me a long time to write it down and make it plain. And so I firmly believe in getting things written down, getting it out of my head. Sometimes we keep those dreams locked up, and we need to understand what our vision is. Vision is that long term. Okay, you got to be able to see it, but you also got to be able to do it. So I'm going to come over here to Ms. Teresa Warren to talk to us a little bit about that planning, that life planning, career planning, financial planning, because it's not easy to get from being a student, say, to getting 3 degrees, a mortgage, as LaTroy said, it's not easy to start fulfilling those dreams. You got to have a plan. You got to know how to get there. So how are you helping some people sort of build that plan to get some of these things?
Well, thank you, Dr. Perry, for having me.
Thank you.
And my name is Teresa Warren, and I am a self-sufficiency specialist with the Isle of Wight Department of Social Services. I help customers to become self-sufficient in the areas of employment, finances, and their career. What I would suggest, or what I basically tell my customers in the beginning, is to have a plan, basic goal settings. Create long-term plans, long-term goals, and short-term goals. Have your short-term goals to measure up to your long-term goals. But once you successfully complete a short-term goal, give yourself some type of reward
Wonderful.
for doing that. And if you write the vision and make it plain, put it on your refrigerator, put it somewhere so every day you wake up, you see it, you're reminded of your goals, and that keeps you one step closer to fulfilling those
I
goals.
want to point out that whole reward thing. That doesn't mean you make $500 and you spend $400
Exactly.
at the mall. Okay, that's
Small
not the
rewards.
kind of reward that she's
Exactly.
talking about.
Thank
you don't know
you.
nobody do that.
Not me.
Okay, so it is important to make those long-term, those short-term goals. One of the things that Duress and I talked about is the financial planning, but
Yes.
more specifically the budgeting.
Yes.
Can you tell people how important that budgeting is, just for that every day, so you can get there to the long-term goal?
It is very important. The first thing I also do, I instruct a financial management class at my church at Oak Grove, and the first thing I tell people to do is create a list. Everything you spend, document what you spend on a regular basis. That way you will become, you will see where you're wasting money. You'll see where money could be going that it's not going, and you can start your budgeting from there. Once you know what you have going out, and then you also have to take into account of what you have coming in. It's very important to be able to budget and save for that rainy day. A lot of places say have a 6-month rainy day fund, and that's 6 months of your bills, everything that you have to pay, saved up, set aside, so that if something happens, you're able to have something to fall back on and you're not completely devastated. But I would say 7 to 8 months rainy day fund set aside.
Well, and I would say try to at least have two months, okay? Let's just be realistic. I know that a lot of people out there, just real talk, they're living paycheck to paycheck. There's a lot of people who, they're thinking 6 months. That's a lot. That's a lot. I would like, if I had 6 months, maybe I would have paid my car off. And so sometimes when you get a little bit of money, you do need to sort of set that money aside, open a savings account,
Yes.
make it grow, talk to someone in financial planning,
Yes.
so that you can get the great things that you want, like buying a home. And so I have with me also Miss Emma Felder, who's going to talk to us about sort of the advantages of renting versus buying, because I think some people don't even, buying a home is not even part of the dream.
Right.
And part of that is generational, where they see themselves in apartment after apartment. But home ownership is possible. So what are the advantages of renting versus home ownership?
Well, thank you for having me, Dr.
Thank you for
Perry.
being here.
Thank you. You're welcome. My name is Emma Felder. I'm a realtor with the local real estate company here in Hampton Roads. There are so many benefits to purchasing versus renting. You can build wealth through purchasing your home. I tell everybody, when you first purchase your first home, don't look at it as purchasing your dream home. Look at it as purchasing an investment that's going to help you with your future. Your first home can actually be your retirement home. If you pay that off within 30 years, those monies that you are creating, if you rent it out, the monies that you're making after you've paid that home off can pay your retirement, can be a part of your retirement fund. Also, when you're renting, it's like putting your money in a bag, in a bag with a hole. So you're never going to see that money again. But if you purchase a home, you're putting money into your life. You will be able to pull those monies out. If you build equity in your home, you can pull those monies out. When she was speaking of a rainy day, you can pull those monies out if you need to. Also, renting versus, purchasing versus renting, you can have something to leave your children.
Yeah, a legacy.
Exactly. I tell people with children, buy one home for each child. That by the time your child gets to college age, that home can put that child through college.
Beautiful.
So
Wonderful.
Yeah,
I thank you guys for these resources, because I wanted people to see amazing people like yourself. And I know you're doing some amazing things. And I want you just to share with the audience, what success looks like in your life. So some of the things that you're doing now, and also then how people can get in touch with you. Because I think some people have the misconception that I have to have the red fancy sports car. I gotta live in a huge house. That's good. However, success really starts with whatever your dreams are. And so, please, if you will, share with our audience, what you're doing today and how people can get in touch with you if they would like more information or would like to buy a home.
Well, I am, like I said, I am a realtor with one of the local firms here in Hampton Roads. I specialize in investment homes, actually. So if you are looking to purchase an investment home, you can call me. My name is Emma Felder. And my number is 757-748-8162. And also, if you're a first-time home buyer, primary residence, I can do all of that. But investment homes is my specialty.
Definitely. Thank you, Emma, so much for being here. You have been awesome. You know, I love you. My favorite real estate agent ever. And Emma is a wealth of information. So, you know, you just sort of got a glimpse of what she does. And even though she has a specialty, she knows all about all sorts of things, home loans, information. Absolutely. Even though that's not what she does, I love a person who knows a little bit about everything that can point me in the right direction. So, you know, pick up those dreams. If you thought you couldn't own a home, call Emma Felder. Okay. Now I'm going to go over here to Mr. LaTroy Brinkley, who is an amazing person. He has to share a little bit about who he is and what he's doing.
Again, my name is LaTroy Brinkley. I'm the owner of Serendipity Hair Salon, Suffolk, Virginia. I'm a celebrity hairstylist. I wanted to say I kind of fell into it, but I know it was all God's plan. Back in 2009, I was a attendee at the Steve Harvey Hoodie Awards, where I met Monique because she was fascinated by the outfit that I had on. Well, I didn't know that in 2010, I would be one of the finalists for the Best Hair Salon. And I met with Angela Guy, Vice President of Stahl Sheen Carson, and she just brought me on board into the influencer circle, and things just began to take off. And I always say, God had a plan mapped out for me. He put people in my place, even with my closest friends. They all know what I do, help them to get to where they need to be. We all help each other. Success for me is waking up being happy every day. The money, the cars, the clothes, that's all fun, and I love it all. But to wake up with my health, my close friends, and my family, that's success for me. I'm happy.
Beautiful.
It's a happy thing.
Beautiful. And he's so humble. So I love it, you know, and I love your personality. And one of the things that I want you to grab from what he's saying is he was in place. He was ready for his blessing. He did everything that he needed to do. He was educated. You heard him say he was in hair school while he was working on his master's degree. He put himself in a place where when he was ready to be given that opportunity, he could walk into that door. And so I applaud you for everything that you're doing. Of course, I wish you well with everything. And thank you so much for being here today. And so, Mr. Russell Warren, again, what should success look like for people? You know, people have this misconception. They're shooting here. And sometimes you got success right here.
And that's absolutely correct. Success for anyone should be what you're happy with when you wake up in the morning, like Mr. Brinkley said, and you're happy with your family, your career, your education, your finances, and you're content, you're happy. For me, success is when I help one of my customers, my friend, or my church members to create a budget or help them find a career path that they didn't realize they could do, and they actually excel in it and do well in it. To me, that is success. That makes
and
me
you
feel
also
good.
help people with their career planning,
Yes.
resume,
Yes.
all that is amazing. So those are things, it's a part of the journey. And so part of, you know, reaching your season. Again, people are waiting until January to start exercising. Okay, people are waiting to walk again into their season, but sometimes your season is already here. Sometimes your season is coming, but what are you doing to get there? Are you putting yourself in place? Do you have the tools that you need to get to that next place? Are you doing what you need to purchase a home? Are you doing what you need to start your business? Are you taking the steps to actually get where you can be financially free? You hear people all the time say, I want to be financially free. Yes. But are you doing what it takes to get there? This is your season. This is your time to rise. I hope that you will take this information and run with it. I think everyone gave their phone number where they can be reached, but that information will also follow this show because I want you to reach out to these people. And if they can't give you the information they need, I'm sure they will point you in the right direction because this is your time. It's time for you to start researching for yourself. Talk to people, get the resources that you need. This is your time to rise. It's now time for me to speak into your life. I want to talk to you about my time to rise. When you think about water and it rising, it does not rise quickly. When you think about baking a cake or bread, not that I bake bread, but when you think about it rising, it doesn't rise quickly. Even if you try to jump out of bed, you can't just jump out of bed without getting a little bit dizzy. And sometimes you have to sit back down. And sometimes that's what God does to us. We jump too fast and you have to sit back down. Let's talk again about my time to rise. In order to rise, we need to understand that comes with timing. That comes with understanding, and understanding how to be prepared to receive that blessing when the opportunity arises. I believe that we have to be flexible and not comfortable. Sometimes we get so comfortable with life, we get so snug in our new house, comfortable with that car, comfortable with that job, and then the job fires you. The house burns down, the car breaks down, and you got to buy a new car. You just told yourself you're not going to ever have another car payment. Life does not work based on you being comfortable. So sometimes you have to come outside of your zone. So I want you to understand change and adjustment. Perhaps you're not rising because you won't change. By the way, it's not even working for you. Perhaps you're not rising because you won't adjust. No one can tell you anything. But I want you to change because you want to change. I know that change is hard, but sometimes we don't understand, why should I change? Because you're not happy, because you're not experiencing joy, because you're not doing the right things in your life, and it's not even getting you what it is that you want in life. Secondly, change is as natural as the seasons. Every season has its beauty. I want you to understand seasons. So hear this. The Seasons poem goes, people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. When you figure out which one, you will know what to do for each person. When someone is in your life for a reason, it is usually to meet a need that you have expressed. They have come to assist you through a difficulty, to provide you with guidance and support, to provide you and aid you with physically, emotional, and spiritual help. They may seem like a godsend, and they are. They are there for a reason that you need them to be. Then, without any wrongdoing on your part or an inconvenient time, the person will say or do something to bring the relationship to an end. Sometimes they die, sometimes they walk away, sometimes they act up and force you out of their life. What we must realize is that our need has been met, our desire fulfilled, their work is done. The prayer you sent up has been answered, and now it is time to move on. And like people, things in your life will change. In fact, they must change in order for that new thing, we like to call it that next level of living. How are you supposed to get to that next level of living if you're not functioning well at this level of living? Today, in fact, and any day, I want you to understand this, can be your season. Stop waiting for the seasons to change. Stop waiting for something to happen. You're waiting to win the lottery. You don't even play the lottery. Stop waiting for someone to give you $1 million. Stop waiting for someone to give you a house or some wonderful thing to happen to you. Some things you got to make it happen. You got to put yourself in place for that blessing. You have to go to school. You got to stay up and write the papers. You have to apply for the job. You have to do the things that you need to do. Okay? And stop telling yourself, I'm not going to work for $10. I'm not going to take that minimum wage job. I'm not going to take that job. That's beneath me. Well, maybe you need that to pay off the debt. Maybe you need to do that. And sometimes while you're in that place doing what it is you're supposed to do, someone may walk up and see the good work that you're doing because you're taking the time to be humble to do the work that you need instead of over there talking to all the big bosses and the supervisors, somewhere that you don't even need to be. You need to be in place for your blessing. Are you in place for your blessing? Last thing I want to say is, this being the beginning of your season, I need you as people to think about the people that you have in your circle. Stop walking in your parents' shoes, doing the same things that they used to do. Maybe he fixed cars, but do you want to? You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But are you walking in their shoes? Are you building your own vision? Are you building your own life? Life struggles. I want to talk to you again about depression. I'm going to keep bringing it up because so many people are dealing with it. They don't want to call it what it is. I want you to understand to stop saying one thing after another. If something else happens, I'm going to lose my mind. I want you to focus on the good that you have in your life. Gratitude. I want you to focus on being grateful for what you have. Relationships, dealing with family, dealing with coworkers, dealing with loved ones. I want you to understand it as a dance. It's not always about them, but when you move, they move. And if you change the way you move, they will move differently. They might get upset with you, but that's okay. It's a dance. So sometimes they're treating you the way they are because you're allowing them to. But if you change the dance, they're going to have to move differently too. Lastly, your career. Get in charge of you. Last thing I tell my students all the time, be the CEO of you. Even if you're on that job and you're not planning on leaving that job, make sure that you find some way to find your voice on the job. Stop letting people just tell you what to do, but you find a way to find some creativity to do some things, even if you have to start your own side business. But start your dream. Don't wait until after the kids get grown. Don't wait until I have more money. If there's a business you want to start it on the side until it grows so well that you can do it full time. Last thing I want to say is truly walk into your calling. This is your season. This is your time to rise. I wish you well. Take advantage of the resources that we're going to talk about. And thank you again for joining us for It's Life Changing. It's now time for community resources. Now we have 3 wonderful people who are going to share information with you about resources in the community that you can take advantage of. I'm going to start here in the middle. If you will introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the resources that have helped you in your journey.
Well, my name is Benita Butts. Right now, I'm a peer specialist, and I myself have had difficult with depression, but now I feel like I'm in recovery, and so with the help through Western Tower Community Service Board, I'm able to help others. I utilize my experience to help others, let them realize just because you have an illness, don't let that hinder you.
The Community Services Board, you heard me say before, is in every city. And so that's for the community. It's the Community Services Board. It's where you can go and get services, mental health services, resources. They can point you in the right direction even if they don't have those services. But they're there to provide individual counseling, individual services, group counseling, family counseling, as you heard our resource say on the last episode. And so reach out to Western Tidewater Community Services Board or either any of the Community Services Board in Hampton Roads area. And so I also want to come over here and talk to, you're from the Up Center,
Yes.
I believe. So tell us a little bit about what you do at the Up Center.
Okay, well, I'm Mary Brantley, and I'm the clinical manager at the Up Center here in Suffolk.
Wonderful.
And primarily, we are a nonprofit agency that provides counseling for families, individuals, and children, actually all over Hampton Roads.
Yes, really.
But the office that I'm at is here in Suffolk. We have two in Norfolk and one in Portsmouth and one here in Suffolk.
So you still do, I know the Up Center in Norfolk provides an array of services. So you provide those same services here in Suffolk?
We can connect you to some of those services.
Okay.
Primarily here in Suffolk, we provide counseling, individual and family counseling and marital counseling for individuals.
Wonderful.
If you have insurance, we can take your insurance. If you don't have insurance, then we put you on a sliding scale fee because we don't want to have anybody that needs a resource out there and not be able to afford it.
Exactly. And so what that sliding fee scale is based on your income or based on some other piece of information so that you can afford to go and get counseling. So again, no more excuses about getting help. There's always someone out there that can help you. And so we have the Up Center here in Suffolk, but again, the Up Center is in several cities now.
Norfolk and Portsmouth, both.
Wonderful. So again, Mary Brantley here in Suffolk. Can you provide folks with the address and the phone number?
Well, the one in Suffolk is 109 Clay Street. That's right here in downtown Suffolk. And the number you can reach us here if you wanted to get connected in for any of our groups. We have lots of groups too, by the way. Specifically, we have a women's assertiveness group that we've been starting fairly soon, that we've been running that's been real successful. And a lot of our groups are free. But one of the groups, if you wanted to get connected into one of the groups, the number for that is 757-965-8652.
And a long time ago, I actually did a group that was connected to the Up Center called Seeking Safety, which was a trauma group. And we talked briefly about that. And so sometimes when people are going through their season and they're trying to get to that time to rise, I know they're going through many things. And trauma sometimes is the cause of that. And so do you do any of those groups in this area as well?
Yes, we do. Actually, the Up Center believes very firmly that a lot of our individuals that we serve have been through some sort of trauma, and you had spoken to that before. And we work a lot with trauma clients, and sometimes we call it stress because
Yes.
people may not identify that they're
Exactly.
traumatized, but they do recognize stress. You know, they get angry, they're having anxiety, they're having panic attacks, they're having relationship problems, and that can be because of trauma. We absolutely do work with that a great deal.
Wonderful. Thank you again, Mary Brantley from the Up Center.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And so I also want to, last but not least, reintroduce you to Miss Emma Felder, just to provide some information. I can't tell you all how important it is to start building your life. Home ownership can do so much. It's almost as important or just as important as life insurance. A lot of people look at stocks and bonds and life insurance, but also home ownership is one of those things that helps you to build up your finances. It helps with your family. So I'm going to ask Ms. Felder again to provide her information so that you can contact her to get more information.
Okay. Once again, my name is Emma Felder, and I didn't mention earlier, I also, if you're facing foreclosure and you need help short selling your home or you need just guidance, please give me a call. My number is 757-748-8162, 757-748-8162. Thank you.
Thank you again. I want to give a hand to my panel who've been here. I thank you so much for your information.
You're very welcome.
Remember, this is your season and this is your time. I come to bring you a little bit of peace, and peace does not mean that there will be no trouble, hard work, or noise. It means to go through those things in the midst of the storm, but be calm in your heart. God bless you, and I'll see you next time.